image of everything that happens
Okay,
here when you take away with you, which is normally pretty valuable. Okay, so and we'll also go through some obviously identify some issues with your stroke, but go through some drills and things as well. So you get that recorded on here as well.
Okay,
so you
cool.
get the kind of footage of what the drill should look like and that kind of thing. But we'll go through those. Okay, so I mean, you mentioned yourself about the pull buoy. There, you find you're better with a pull buoy normally, do you?
I feel I have more time in the water. I feel that I'm not rushing my stroke with a pull buoy, and it's a confidence thing.
Okay.
It really is kind of I can swim all day with a pull buoy.
Yeah.
I can slow my stroke down. I can breathe every 4 strokes rather than every 2. It's just a real comfort blanket.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you think's causing that need for the pull buoy? What do you think's kind of
Sinking
holding you
legs.
back? Okay. Yeah.
Sinking legs. So until the last 2-3 months, I've been very conscious of. I feel my legs are dragging, almost my toes are almost touching the floor.
Yeah.
They're probably not, but that's the feeling I get. And then to compensate that, swim faster. More stroke rate that's inefficient.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then I'm getting more tired, more fatigued, more frustrated.
Okay.
And it's easy to go straight back to that pull buoy.
Have you worked on any elements of your stroke, particularly?
Yes, so I had a couple of swimming lessons 9 months ago to slow everything down and doing lots of catch drills, so almost tapping
I can
hands
see that.
and almost try and exaggerate
Yeah.
not a drift, but
Yeah.
and then next one in.
Okay.
Lots of
Doing a lot
body
of catch-up.
turning. Yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Lots of body turning, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Kind of in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I lose the pull buoy and I go back to like my legs are just sinking so faster. And there's only one hand in the water and it's just not.
Yeah. Who was that with you?
Ian, guy who used to work at the Warwickshire.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember his name now. But does he work over at Stoneleigh?
Yes, I think
Yeah. He used to do some stuff for us when we had the pool there. Because he's a total immersion
correct. Yes.
swimming
Yes.
coach, isn't he?
Yes.
They coach. In fairness to you, they coach a different kind of methodology when it comes to swimming, which probably has an impact on some of the things that we'll have a chat about in a minute. But yeah, no, you're right. Okay, so your legs are dropping down a little bit, and what we'll do is we'll look at the reasons for that. Okay. Your catch and your pull from where I was standing at the side of the pool look really good.
Okay, good.
So a lot of people will have quite weak catches, and that's the propulsion element of the stroke, the catch and the pull through. Okay. So when we look at swimming, we've basically got 2 main component parts. So we have things that cause drag, so things that slow you down, and things that create propulsion, things that speed you up. Okay. Most people are not as quick as they could be, not because they haven't got the propulsion, but because they've got too much drag in the water. So what we look at is what causes that drag. We can then look at the catch and the propulsion phase of it and see what we can do to improve that. But drag is normally the problem that's causing people to slow down. All right? I don't want to say that for any reason for you in particular, but I'm just just covering that. Okay. So if we play this through then, so just fast forward a little bit. So this is kind of obviously poolside view. Nice smooth stroke. You've got a nice smooth stroke. Now the first thing that struck me was, just pause it there. The first thing that struck me was the smoothness to your stroke, which is nice to see. The next thing I kind of noticed really was you've got a catch-up style of swimming. So I don't know whether you had this before or whether this is something which has developed since you've been kind of having you had the lessons a while ago. But if we just look at it here, what I'm looking at is this hand. If you watch it, if I run it through now. So you've got your lead hands nice and straight, really nice and straight and high. I don't know if you've been working on that, but it's really nice and straight and high. I'll have a look at your head position in a minute, but your head position looks pretty good there. Your arm is coming out, and what you've actually got here is your one hand is almost catching up to the other one before you start your catch phase. You catch and you pull through. Okay? So it's the same thing on this side.
It's not so pretty.
See, look, we've got both hands at the front there. So if I show you so if we watch, this is Jono Van Hazel, okay, so he's an ex-Olympic swimmer. So we just take it back to where we get you in the same position. So he's now in the same position as you, okay? So arm extended, okay, both arms out, recovering arms out of the water. Roll yours through. Your hand enters the water and both hands at the front here. If we run Jono through, by the time that hand enters the water, look at his other hand. His other hand's gone.
Yeah.
It's already halfway through the catch.
Yeah.
Okay? So what you're doing by doing this is you're creating a dead spot at the front of the stroke. You're creating a stall. Okay? Because at that point, you've got no propulsion.
Mm-hmm.
Because what creates the propulsion is the catch and the pull through.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got no propulsion. Or not, you've got no, it's not as effective as it could be. It's probably a better way of putting it. Okay? So that's the first thing I kind of spotted, really. Let's run it through. And the catch, once it starts, is a pretty good catch. I'll have a closer look at that in a minute. And pulls back. Okay? The next thing that I kind of noticed, really, and this again is propulsion. I'll talk about drag in a minute. Is the stroke rate. It's very slow. Okay, you've got a stroke rate of about 47 or 48 strokes a minute. So, because you've got a dead spot in your stroke and you've got a slow stroke rate, your propulsion is quite weak. Okay, that doesn't help with the back end sinking down, your body sinking down. Okay, so we can look at your timing, the stroke timing. So in terms of what your hands are doing in relation to each other. And we can look at your stroke rate.
Okay.
If we can get those two things improved, then you'll naturally start to bring your body position up. Okay? This is why you need a pull buoy. This is why you feel more comfortable with a pull buoy, because it's causing your back end to sink down. All right. Now, if I ditch him for a second, so we'll take it back a bit. So head position. Now, the body is like almost, think of it like a seesaw. The further up your head comes, the further down your legs go. Okay? So ideally you want to be swimming flat, nice and flat in the water. Okay? The higher you lift your head, the further down your legs go. Okay? We want to be line working. So your body position is down here, whereas ideally we want to be up towards this position, okay? And again, that gets caused by the stall, by the high head position, okay? So we can look at your head positioning, all right? Some people prefer to look further forward. Some people benefit from looking down. If you have a tendency for legs to drop, the further down you look generally seems to be better, but we can experiment with that because there's sometimes it doesn't kind of work quite like that. So there's some drills we can work on, or some exercises we can go through to work on that. Okay. So what I also want to do is look at the reason why you're lifting your head up. You know, why are you feeling the need to lift it so high? That's normally because you're feeling like you're needing the time to get that breath in. I don't know if that's how you feel when you're breathing or when you're swimming. You feel like you.
Yeah, I think without the pull buoy, everything is multiplied by 3.
Yeah.
So
you lift your head right up here. So what it should look like, so you can see it. Now I do all the kind of methodology that I use comes from a swim smooth perspective, because that's you know, for me it's the best methodology there is, and it's the way I'm kind of trained anyway. So I use, as a result, I use the Swim Smooth app, which you can have access to.
Okay.
Because all the video clips and things that I show you are on their app, on their Swim Smooth app. So if you need to, you can log in and you can have a look at them. It is a charge for using it, but you can log in for, I think it's 48 hours for free, so you can have a good old hunt around.
Yeah. Okay.
And to be honest, most of what you need you'll be able to see in that time, and then you'll have my video as well, my DVD. But that's kind of what I use. Okay, so you can see that's the kind of head position we want to be in, really. So we want to be having. Okay, so the head is flat.
Yeah.
So you also almost kind of, you refer to it as kind of split screen vision. You only have one eye out, and it's called Popeye breathing because you're having to go like Popeye does out the side of your mouth to get the air in. Now you're doing that. Where are we? There we go. You're doing that. You're moving your mouth over to one side, but you're also lifting your head right up as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what I want to look at is I want to see whether you're holding your breath. If you hold your breath, your lungs stay full of air, lifts your top end of your body up, makes your legs sink again. So if it might be a breathing issue, that one you should look at. Okay? So you've taken a big old breath full of air there. That will automatically make your legs come down this way because you've got buoyancy at the front end. So you've got all that air in your lungs, so there's nothing coming out. That's just bubbles from bringing your head back in. There's nothing coming out. So you're holding all that in there at the moment. Now we should hopefully be able to see there. See how you start to breathe out just as you're having to take another breath. You still see it coming out.
Yeah.
Now what that's making you do is you're feeling like you've got to go, you've got to breathe out and breathe in that time your head is out of the water, or the last minute, all right? So what we want to look at is constant breathing. So you take a breath, and as soon as you put your head back in the water, breathing and relaxation. So what we're going to do then is, well, I'll go through the sink down with you, and it's a way of emphasising the importance of emptying your lungs. If you empty your lungs, it'll drop the front end down, you'll feel more relaxed, and when you turn your head to breathe, you'll only have to get air in, you won't be able to get air out and in, so you'll feel like you've got more time. Okay? We may have to do some body positioning work, so you can feel that you don't have to lift in order for you to do that, by rotating slightly further, but we'll have a look at that. Okay.
Okay, so breathing is probably one of the hardest things for swimmers to get right, certainly in the initial stages of developing their swimming stroke. Even some very advanced swimmers maybe grew up with the knowledge that they should actually be holding onto their breath underneath the water to somehow improve their buoyancy, to lift their whole body higher in the water there. However, we find that this causes a few problems. A, the swimmer often feels quite anaerobic in the water, so they feel like they're often getting quite sort of tense, breathing doesn't feel relaxed. And B, that whole idea of improving the buoyancy, if the buoyancy is held in the chest and lungs, that's going to allow the swimmer to sit very high at the front. But typically for many male triathletes, low sinking legs in the water, that's going to exacerbate this low sinking leg position in the water. And whilst the front end of the stroke is very, very high, the back end will be dropping down, creating additional
Pretty much
drag.
what we said, isn't it? So what I'll do is I'll just fast forward it to You can see the sink down drills. Just try and get to the... So basically what they're doing is they're in the deep end, and you exhale and you see what happens to your body. If you fully empty your lungs, you go down. The only thing that keeps your body on the surface really is the air in your lungs. You've got a certain amount of natural buoyancy, but most people will sink if your lungs are empty.
Okay.
So, and this drill emphasises...
Now you can see here that all the swimmers have stayed floating in the water there. Eventually they go down, but it's only once they start to release that they get down straight away.
So you can see the ones who are really good at this, and they sink straight down. He's still struggling to get down, like he can't release the air from his lungs.
Good, okay. So you can all feel that period of buoyancy at the start. Unfortunately, that was keeping you very, very high. And if you're trying to lay horizontally in the water, that's ultimately going to cause the swimmer to sit very high at the front and the legs to trail down at the back. What we need to do is we need to be blowing out straight away. This is how we're going to do that. This time, we're going to take a breath of air in. You're going to flop your arms down by the sides, breath of air in, and almost like you can't be bothered to do the exercise, I want you to blow out like so. It's almost like a great big, exhaling properly, like a great big sigh in the water. This is how we should be exhaling when we're swimming proper freestyle swimming. Okay, are we ready? 3, 2, 1, and...
Let's pause it there a second. I think you might feel like I'm kind of overemphasising this kind of point maybe and spending quite a lot of time on this, but this is quite a key point. If we can get the breathing right and get you feeling relaxed in the water, then you'll enjoy the swimming more, and you'll be more inclined to actually put the effort into working on the other elements. It'll make the whole thing much more relaxing for you. And this is one of the number one things that we've got to fix, which is why I'm kind of spending a bit of time kind of going through it.
Now you can see here, Mike especially went straight down this time, just by exhaling properly underneath the water. A good result.
So you're struggling to get his bum down still?
Yeah. Okay, much quicker?
But what happens,
excellent.
I'll stop it there. But what happens is you practice it and you can get to the point where you realise how to do it and you can go bang to the bottom of the pool. And we build that into a drill called bubble, bubble, breathe. Okay? Where you're blowing out, constantly blowing out into the water and just practicing exhaling. And you get used to doing it, and it becomes more rhythmical and more relaxing when you're swimming. We'll go through that. Okay, so far then we've got timing, we've got a head position we can look at. We can look at our breathing. Those are the main issues so far. And the stroke rate. So the only other thing I really want to look at the moment, we'll go through the rest of the footage. The only thing I want to look at the moment is your legs, what's happening with your legs. Because, yeah, they're sinking down, but if you can get them to be more effective in the water, then even if they do sink down, it won't have quite so much of an impact. It's only worth kind of working on a few key elements at any one time, otherwise you end up with kind of brain overload, and that's kind of too much to work on. So you work on the key component, the key elements, and then we can kind of move on from there. Right. So your legs are sinking down quite a bit, and your kick that kind of kick, it's a 2-beat kick, so you're basically kicking with each stroke. It's fine, absolutely fine, especially if you're a distance athlete. I get some girls come in, and I say girls because it's nearly always girls that do this. I've got a constant, like, you've probably seen them in the pool yourself, they kick like that, like machines. If you're going to do an Ironman, you don't want to be kicking like that. It's going to use so much energy. The kick is for balance.
But my kick is almost as my hips. It almost feels like it will get my hips back.
Yeah.
It's part of the whole kind of slow down little flutter kick. That's that side. Yeah,
and that is because of what you call a kickstart. That's caused by your dead spot.
Okay.
So when you pause, you feel like you've got to give it a flick.
Yeah.
So you're feeling like you're flicking each time because your legs give it a. Yeah. It's like if you say go in a race, your legs go like this. It's just naturally what you do. As soon as your body senses that you're kind of slowing down, you'll give it a kick to get it going again. And that's what.
Yeah, it's really funny. My 200 400 last night.
Yeah.
It was about just swimming. There was no riding. There was no.
Yeah. It's because you're going quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I can see that. And this chap here, and I won't play much of this, but this is exactly that. So he
This
takes a
video
stroke.
clip of Chris overgliding is very interesting.
He has a
He has a
definite
pause as
kick.
he reaches forward, trying to overly lengthen out the freestyle stroke, but in doing so, slows his speed. What he does is this kick start, which we associate with the overglider style of trying to match a 2-beat leg kick with that long freestyle stroke. By pausing with that lead arm, he bends the knee to reinitiate the speed or accelerate again within the stroke. But as you can see, by bending so much from the knee, he's actually creating just as much drag, if not more so, than what he's trying to overcompensate with extra propulsion.
Okay, so it's a perfectly natural thing.
Okay.
So we can work on some kick drills, do a torpedo drill, which I'll put on here so you've got that as well. Torpedo drill. It's only quick, so I'll play this one. It's good to see you get them recorded on here. That's
Even as a triathlete or open water swimmer, you might be tempted to be a little bit lax and lazy with your push off the wall. Get into a good habit of driving off the wall in this torpedo position, one hand on top of the other and really extending out, with a good leg kick off the wall, just to ensure that you really think about stretching out through your core, which will help to lift your bum and legs up a little bit higher in the water. Every time you drive off the wall, try to ensure you're covering between 3 and 6 meters. As you feel your speed slowing, break out of that streamline with your first pull through and get into the rhythm of your stroke.
So this is an alternative. You see swimmers going up and down with a kickboard, practicing their kick. We don't do any of that because it's not a natural position for you to kick it. And again, we don't, as a triathlete, you don't need a strong kick. You just need a nice, efficient kick. You need to be pointing your toes. So we'll go through some drills to improve your kick as well. Okay. So this is obviously just the other side. It doesn't really give us anything extra on top of what we've already covered. See that. Can't really see the breath there, but the legs, like, see, there's that kick.
Yeah.
There's that whip of the kick. Yeah. So you've got this big knee bend creating this big surface area here. When you think about swimming, you kind of almost want to be swimming through a tube. So you want to be swimming along as though you're swimming around a tube about kind of 18 inches wide. Anything that kind of sticks out of that, arms and legs and things, are going to just cause drag. You look at the most efficient swimmers, they're just like this. They swim straight down this tube. So these kind of things are what cause the drag. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what we'll do then is have a look on the way back. Let's push off from the wall nice and straight. Your arm's actually staying nice and straight in front of you here, which is pretty good. There's the catch-up that we've spoken about here, so both arms are at the front.
Yeah.
One of the hands should be back here now. But again, we can have a look at that. What's really good again is this is staying high and staying straight. A lot of people have a tendency to drop that down or it crosses over here. But yours is nice and straight, which is good. There's the catch up again, but it enters the water, stays straight again. So there's no major issues there. You've got a scissor kick going on a little bit here.
Yep.
See your legs kind of splitting.
Yep. Is that an over-rotating of the hips?
Over-rotating because you're going to be virtually vertical in the water. Okay, so you're over-rotating, and that's your legs trying to balance you up. Okay, so we can have a look at that. A lot of that is caused by the dead spot. You get too much time at the front end. You continue to rotate before the other hand comes in and straightens you back up again. That should sort itself out, or certainly be improved. It's really good that you're so straight though. That's a lot of people have a major problem with that. Over-rotating we can look at. Just have a look at your catch here. So there's your dead, there's your, so if we just pause it, then we just get to the point. Go on, Dave, get it in the right place. Doesn't like going backwards, this thing. Okay, so your hand enters the water. Okay, so it's now 43.17. So 43.17. We'll see when it starts to actually create any propulsion. Okay, so it's there, still there. There's your big glide. Still there, still there, still there. Then it starts to come back at that point. Okay, so that hand has stayed still for what, 8/10 of a second, nearly a whole second.
I think I glide more on my right.
Yeah, it's because you're breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I'm not breathing, I want to come up here.
yeah,
Yeah. The only way you can come up is by.
yeah. And that's
So-
what's causing the over-rotation.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, we get you to bilaterally breathe as well. To make sure. Do you ever breathe on both sides at all?
I've got so far into this now on my left.
Yeah,
If I do on my right, absolute panic.
yeah, yeah. It's something that longer term you need to kind of continue to work on, because you should try and have balance to your stroke.
I think over the winter is bilateral breathing.
Yeah, yeah. We'll go through some drills. We'll go some drills with you for that bubble bubble breathe drill, yeah, that's something we can work on. See, that hand there isn't the other hand isn't there for nearly as much time as you say. So 44.7 or 44.7. Oh, yeah. Right. So it centers the water, extends. So 44.6, say. And that one immediately starts to come down. There's no long pause, there's a long glide at the front of this other hand. And then it pulls back. So it's definitely different on the one side. Right, okay. I don't think there's really, this is just kind of emphasising the catch again. Have a look at this down here. And there's this over rotation. So if you look at the angle here of the body, you want to be 45 degrees ideally to the water. Go around. And you're kind of over here, really. Okay, so you're almost vertical in the water. Go away. So you want to be, your body position wants to be more like that. Okay, I'm using the wrong one here. But you're more like that. Okay. But if we work on the other things, that should improve naturally as well. We can work on the catch. I mean, that's not too bad. You look at between 100 and 120 degrees, ideally on the catch.
So my out there should be higher, ideally.
That's not too bad.
Okay.
That's not too bad. So if you further rotate it, it's a little bit straight at that point. So when you're at the 45 degree point, ideally there should be a bend in the arm here to start your catch earlier. It's a little bit straight and the bend comes a little bit too late. So you've got your propulsion or your push at that point. It should start a little bit earlier, but we don't have to worry about that too much. We can move on to that a little bit further down the line. All right, so they're the main issues that we need to cover. I'll send all this through to you in an email and kind of re-clarify all this for you. But so we'll go through some drills now, and then start putting it together. See what we can do. All right. Okay. Let's get this stopped.